Let's go ahead and get started. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance real quick. We'll get this show on the road. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, starting this select board meeting June 13th at 6 o'clock. All right, before we go through our usual updates about warrants and budgets and minutes, Doug, would you like to start the meeting with your fire department report?
Nope, when we did our budget last year, we only had 7 or 8 guys, so we planned on that. This year we have doubled, we have 15 guys right now, so we're gonna add more equipment to check, more man hours, more training, whatnot, so we're gonna need to raise our budget a little bit for that. It's nice to feel appreciated, we're starting to feel that from the town. This time last year, everybody was mad, understandably, with what was going on. We appreciate that. So, about it for that.
Do you anticipate the budget needing to go up beyond what you guys proposed?
We
Or
might need to up our stipend a little more. We didn't raise it when we did the budget.
So
It's at 16 right now.
the budget committee raised it to 20.
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay, so if you think it needs to be raised
No,
more
I
than
think
that.
20 will do.
Okay, so that's what's on the proposed budget right now
Okay.
is 20.
It's a recommendation on the warrant articles, so you can always make an amendment or a proposal for a different one if you find that it needs to be
I think
increased.
20 will be fine. So,
cool. All right, I like it when we plan ahead.
yep. You guys all set?
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you, Doug.
Thanks for going to your training.
Thanks, Doug.
Yep.
Okay, as far as the minutes go, Jesse and I have read and signed approved the minutes for May 28th. We have copies in the office and on the website if you would like to review them.
You need to motion that?
Oh,
Go on
yes,
the minutes.
yes, thank you, Norma. I might have even, I think I might have forgot that last
I think
meeting.
we forgot a lot now.
Okay,
I didn't remind you, so.
so I, motion that we approve the minutes for the combined meeting we had on May 28th.
Me?
All in favor? Okay. All right, this week, we have warrant number 26, expenses totaling $121,642, which, covered checks ranging from 15,503 through 15,525. Receipts of $26,130, which was receipts 1946 through 2027. And right now, as far as percentage of 2023 real estate taxes collected, we are still right on 89%. Okay, at this time, let's,
Motion to approve that warrant? Do you need to?
you,
No? Okay, she says no, so
okay.
never mind.
Open session. Questions, comments from members of the town? Bill? No?
Oh.
Yes?
I see you have an open session for GWI.
Yes, we can do that now. We have that in 2 places,
Oh, we do?
but,
I'm looking
yes.
forward to going on business, wherever you'd like to have it.
Yeah, now's good.
Okay. So I spoke with Derek Gagnon today, and they had a chance to review last meeting's video, and they sent a letter to you guys, I think,
I got an email on it. Yep.
email
Yep.
with communication about some information, and I wondered if you had a chance to
Yeah, they answered
talk about it.
I hadn't had a chance to talk about it. I didn't know if everybody got that email or if it was just me.
So it was to explain, some of the things they felt was, that they felt we needed more clarification from the last meetings.
Yeah, so the question one that he addressed was, will First Light provide GWI with internet service? GWI directly interconnects with multiple tiers of Tier 1 ISPs, including Hurricane Electric, Cognite, NTT to obtain internet access. To connect Sumner network to the rest of GWI network, we will lease one or more dark fiber connections using the geographically diverse paths. First Light is one of several providers that lease dark fiber middle mile to GWI and are often used to reach remote networks as cost effectively as possible. Mid-mile fiber providers should not be confused with internet service providers, and GWI offers a fiber product in direct competition with First Light. Why does GWI want to work with the town? GWI has been involved with dozens of POP leases throughout the state of Maine and Vermont, primarily partnering closely with local towns to the best meet their needs and reach an amicable agreement. Having direct access to GWI fiber network means the towns can connect to any town building on GWI's network, potentially decreasing their existing costs for internet and voice services. We believe in giving the town the opportunity to show their residents that they care about giving them choices. GWI is the only ISP operating as a certified B Corp, ensuring that we fairly treat our employees, vendors, and customers. Another question was, what is the market rate for the POP land lease? This varies significantly depending on the facilities being offered. Below are a few of the common scenarios that we see. Indoor space with GWI equipment, so located in a town office building, ideally with generator backup, HVAC, etc. Any augment improvement to the facility is funded by GWI. $150 plus power, separate meter or percent of the power bill is typical.
That's 150 per month, right?
150 per month, correct. Outdoor space with GWI equipment in a small hut building. This space must be near our fiber cable plant and is approximately 24 by 24, providing under a long-term lease, which that size is different than the one that they are proposing. GWI pays an applicable taxes and accepts appropriate liability. This is a remote facility that will be visited infrequently, once a month after the network is fully operational. It typically is $175 a month. Co-location, a provider facility. GWI currently has agreements for co-locations in CCI central office and First Light facilities in Maine, as well as agreements for rack space in Boston and New York. This is fundamentally different from the first option in that the building is set up for telecommunications equipment and we rent out rack space and power consumption basis. This facility provides primary power, backup power, access controls, and that is typically between $250 and $1,250 per month. Just closes by saying GWI is committed to delivering the most cost-effective and reliable service for our customers, the residents of Sumner. When negotiating these various municipal lease rates, we consistently land on our surroundings receiving free internet service. Though this is fair and equitable, it doesn't provide the most flexibility to the towns. While GWI will prefer to be the chosen ISP to deliver services to the building, we recognize that competition is a good thing. We offer a monthly payment instead of just free service to cover the cost of that internet service with providers if you choose to. That being said, we would love to get a meeting scheduled that would, we may discuss all these things further. Let me know when that may be available.
So they're getting to the point where they need to make a decision as to where they're either finding a hut location or finding an alternative manner to accomplish the end. So I attended planning board last week, was it just last week? And did Dawn or anybody from the planning board, communicate with you about, there was a question as to whether the site plan review was required, so they were gonna contact MMA to try and get some further clarification.
I did.
Did
I
anybody?
did, and I suggested, yes,
Site plan review.
site plan review. So, now.
Site plan review on a town-owned property seems different than, like, if I wanted to do a site plan review for something happening on my property, so how does that work differently? Or would it?
Don't know, it's just, I don't know if I have the email that MMA sent to me, but they thought that it would make sense. And they said as far as who, you know, would need a survey of some kind, so they said it depends on the town who pays for it, but I don't know that it makes sense for the town to pay for it, but that's not up to me. Yes,
I would think that because there's no plumbing or anything else involved, that it would be a pretty simple, site plan review and could be done quickly.
I don't know, I would need Fred for those.
Right.
And they weren't sure in terms of who would be responsible for oversight, since it's town property, you know, how to do the logistics of it.
Right.
Timeline, they weren't sure last week about how to proceed.
So I recall, Norma,
Yes,
from the email, MMA said that the leasees could possibly be an entity that to create the site plan review so that the planning board could review it and make a ruling on it. So sounds like that's kind of like, in my opinion, it's their best option, I think. I mean, if the town takes on the role of submitting a site plan review, and then also the town takes on the role of reviewing and possibly approving the site plan review, you know, I just feel like there's, you know, it just, there's too much, our fingers are too much in the pot. Let's just ask the leasees to do it, and then the planning board can review it from there. But I don't speak for our chair, I'm just.
Where did we land with whether or not a town vote needed to happen?
That stands.
That stands, okay.
and that's the whole process, site plan review, then public hearing, and then a special town meeting.
Okay.
So we're talking about a space, whether it's 24 by 24 or 12 by 20. And the site that seems to be, that you guys were in some agreement about, is that corner of the sand pit that's got trees on it already and is right next to the road that is on this side of the road that goes down in.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah, I meant to get out
correct?
there this week and put the flags and some sticks out, but I will have that done in the next week.
And you did go out with somebody from.
I met Thomas there, yeah, we went over that, it was, you know,
A couple months ago.
yeah.
I don't know how, I mean, we could certainly reach out to AvCog, maybe their opinion is different as to whether a site plan review needs to be done or not.
I would think you've sought legal advice for, I don't know who you spoke with at MMA, but probably there.
Just could be any of them.
I think I'd like to save our freebies with that call.
Alright,
I get three, right?
Yeah.
so then someone needs to get in touch with GWI.
I mean, they're gonna see this,
Proceed.
you'll see this meeting tonight and tomorrow on whenever you get it posted. And they're looking forward to being able to move it as expeditiously as possible. So in reality, GWI is offering, I mean, what they're doing is federal money that is coming at absolutely no cost to the town of Sumner. All of the only, and there is no cost, if they pay for the taxes, they pay for whatever it is to get the land ready, then, and you receive a rent from them for that space, 24 by 24 or 12 by 20, over a period of time. And it is no cost to the town. I understand that it's a lease commitment, but we as a town would benefit significantly by having competition and another option for internet service that is, at this point, described and backed up by pricing at a better rate, a higher baud rate and a lower cost than what First Light offers.
Can I ask a question? What happens if something happens in that building, or say there was a fire and damage was done to the surrounding area? I mean, what kind of liability comes with that, and what kind of coverage comes with that?
They're indicating in the thing is that they pay taxes and appropriate liability. So anything that would happen, they'd be responsible for that, whatever happens in that space. I think that's clear in the letter.
Makes sense. Thank you.
I do have, what MMA Legal responded when I asked them about the site plan review. So I've looked quickly at your site plan ordinance, and it appears to me that a development like the one you described likely does require site plan review. The structure/use you described does not appear to me to fall under the activities exempted from review under section 2B. But ultimately, I'll leave that decision to your planning board, which is charged with administering your site plan ordinance and deciding whether it has jurisdiction to review or act on an application. In terms of who the applicant can or should be, that's probably ultimately up to the town and whatever terms are negotiated as part of an agreement lease for the land. I think either the town or the private company could be the applicant. I don't see any exemption in your ordinance for town-owned properties, and best practice would be for the town to hold itself to the same standards it holds private property owners to. Although the town could certainly seek site plan approval, it would likely be easier for the town if the would-be lessee was responsible for obtaining the approvals that are needed to construct the building and conduct the use they are intending to conduct on the property. From a legal standpoint, so long as the lease agreement is clear that the lessee has the authority to seek the approval and develop the property in the way that they are proposing, meaning the lease that the town doesn't limit their ability to build the building they are proposing, and is clear that they have authority to seek any necessary regulatory approvals to develop the property, then they would have sufficient right, title, and interest in the property to seek site plan approval.
So could you forward that?
I can give you a copy.
All right, that'd be awesome. Then I can share that with you. I think the only other question I have around the kind of the concerns that residents have voiced over the past 4 or 5 months that I've been present for is I'd like to kind of understand that more clearly, and GWI would too, in terms of what the hesitations are about doing this for the town. And I know, Kristen, you've mentioned something.
I just felt like, why don't they just buy this piece of property and then it's all said and done, and we're not tied up with a piece of paperwork, and that's what makes the most sense to me. I don't understand the lease agreement. What happens after 50 years goes by? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but my brain is not in all of things related business-wise, so it might be something that happens all the time.
Well, it sounds like that's the kind of arrangement that they've had with other cities and towns that they've done it with over time.
Does First Light on their building, one building or two? I don't know how many they have.
There were 2 that we had first, conversation about.
Do they lease from the town, or did they purchase that property?
One, I'm not sure. The other, I know that they own the property. I thought they leased the other from a resident, but I'm not sure.
In Sumner. And that did have a site plan review as well.
Bill, did you have a comment?
This seems pretty straightforward. We probably spent 3 times as much time as we should. I think Jeff was right on the mark, that it's appropriate for the GWI folks to submit the site plan. It's appropriate for the planning board to review it, and then to follow the remaining steps. As far as why a business would want to lease instead of buy, my guess is that in the current real estate market, you wouldn't want to buy, because they would end up being whacked with higher costs potentially. And so to mock snicks from our viewpoint, a 50-year lease is okay, I would think.
Yeah, it would be income to us, and I don't know what we've done when we did the solar, or the wind, or was it when the end time came, there was a agreement about how it would be
Decommissioned.
decommissioned, deconstructed, and so on. But I don't see internet as going away like a solar construction would be. What I would see is that we're going to improve that technology over time, and if anything, they'd upgrade it and keep using it, because we all are gonna, there are gonna be more of us wanting internet than we currently probably have in this town. And I think the reason I think that it's a good arrangement for the town is that it's a service, and we as a community don't have an obligation, but we have an opportunity to provide a service to people who might not have internet, and who we don't know don't have internet right now, or who wouldn't like to have internet that is at a little better quality for lesser cost by a Maine company that is clearly a Maine company not going anywhere, and has a reputation for very good customer service.
Sure. My only other question was, you were gonna, and you may have done this already, but you were just gonna review that and make sure that that site wasn't gonna potentially interfere with the
No.
traffic for
I don't think it
winter
will.
sand, salt, any of that.
Yeah, it's really out of the way.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so, as far as action items go, the next thing we'll be looking for as, board is to see that site plan review get, submitted to the planning board.
Are you gonna email Derek and Thomas, or would you?
Yeah, I'll probably talk to him tomorrow.
I'll email him too, just so he knows that I'm not.
Yeah, but they'll see what we had conversation about. I'll try and expedite the process for site plan with them.
Okay.
And the planning board, planning board's gonna be on the 18th.
All right, Kristen.
Well, as far as the RSU budget vote that just took place, both Sumner and Buckfield voted it down as a town, as 2 towns, but the other 5 did pass, so the budget has passed. Sumner and Buckfield had unique circumstances that the other 5 towns did not have. I did check the news outlets, and it seems that there are a lot of our area surrounding districts who also, their citizens voted down the budgets. So we seem to be in a vein of similarly minded people who are concerned about these increases. So the Mechanic Falls Mine at Poland School voted down theirs. Lewiston voted down theirs for the 2nd time. Oxford Hills voted theirs down, and RSU 4, which is Sabattis, Litchfield, and Wales, their budget vote failed, and Westbrook did. So that's 5 area schools that are facing similar feelings that the voters of Sumner and Buckfield were thinking, in the ways of maybe not going along with all of this. There's 2 other schools that they passed it marginally, per the news outlets anyway. Gorham by only 4 votes, and then Gray New Gloucester, which is MSAD 15, passed by only 12 votes. So, as I had been saying before, this is happening all across the state. This is not just unique to RSU 10. But people are feeling the angst of the rising taxes. So, yes.
Do you know how much, if we count vote by vote, how much was it overwhelmingly passed by the other 5 towns?
It was overwhelmingly passed in Rumford, which happens every year. Mexico was 2nd, and then Hanover and Roxbury, they were closer. And I cannot remember, I feel like Hartford had a pretty good spread there. So ours was a 20 vote difference, if I remember what I read correctly. So, there's that. We have a board meeting on Monday night, where we sign all the paperwork that goes along with all of this. I believe it's called ratification. Anybody agrees? Yes. I think that's what it's called. And then we're looking to have a bit of a break over the summer when school is out, and but Mountain Valley High School graduation is happening tonight. Buckfield is happening tomorrow night, and there we have it. Any more questions about RSU stuff?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think the big difference between Romford and Sumner is the fact that just when you look at Sumner's demographic and what we have for taxpayers here, us getting an increase of 10%,
9.1.
rounded to the nearest.
I just don't want anybody to watch the video and say I said 10, I didn't say 10.
Yeah, with county tax going up 27%, when you add those two things together, it's just a big pill to swallow. Okay, Sean, roads.
Started the project on Lower Sumner Hill. It's going a little bit slower than I intended on. We're getting a lot of rocks. We're getting stumps. We started on the lower part of it because there was a hole there big enough to bury a car, so we figured we'd start on that end. So I'm hoping by Monday or Tuesday next week, I am getting a grader and gonna grade it out. Gonna get a roller, and then we're gonna put reclaim on the hill so it'll stay there. So I'm hoping by the end of next week it's gonna really look good down there. I wanna complete that whole section before I move up on this other section. We started down there just because there was that big hole, and there's a bunch of reclaim that's ready to go out of the pit and it's in the way, so we wanted to get it hauled out of there. So we'll probably take a couple days off when we get that section done, and then we'll move right up on and start at 219 and go right down through. So yeah, it's slow. There's a lot of junk in that road, a lot of rocks. There's places down there that we just doing one lane, and we dig about the length of the truck, and it's full of rocks. And we're going down about 3 to 4 feet deep. We're gonna put a good layer of gravel on top. It'll be really nice. And that's what I've been doing. I did a little bit of patching this morning. I'm gonna try to do that for the next couple of days. I got some real bad holes in places that just keep getting bigger. And that's about it on the roads.
Cool. How'd the road committee meeting go?
Road committee meetings are going real good.
Animal control.
That's been fairly quiet. I've had a couple dogs that have run off, but they've come back. One was a yellow lab, and they thought it ran off, and the next morning they found it in a hay loft.
That was in our place.
That was in your place? Okay, yeah.
You think a dog would bark, and she never said anything all night. Everybody calling and hollering, where are you, where are you? And there she was the next morning. I think she got chased upstairs by the sheep that were in there.
Well, that was good to hear that. I don't like to hear missing dogs.
Yeah, we don't either.
Yeah, and that's about it on that. And I actually talked to a animal control officer for Buckfield. His last name is Holmes, and he's got all the training, and he is really interested in doing this and looking forward to talking to you, Selectman, about it.
I talked to Jesse earlier this week, I believe, and said we'd give your lady like this week to come in, and if she
Yeah,
doesn't,
this-
then we'll get in touch with
sure.
Brandon and see if we can.
Yeah, I mean, this guy seems like it's pretty cut and dry.
He's planning on he'd like to pick up 3 or 4 towns, so that's really pretty much what he wants to do, is just be an animal control officer.
Yeah,
so.
already being certified.
I don't think you can beat that.
No.
Yep.
Great.
So where did you leave it with him? Is he waiting for us to
I
contact
told him
or
I
is he
was
gonna-
taking this month here and after our meeting, and then he'll probably contact you guys, or you contact him. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Sean.
Yep.
Forms, reports, correspondence, new business, discussion of possible fee schedule for building notifications. So, we, kind of entertained this idea, the last meeting, and I think we were all in agreement that, or most of us anyway, that, that's a good idea. The new buildings going in should, it only makes sense that should essentially fund the process for the code enforcement officer, et cetera. So I think the big discussion is, what's the best method of coming up with a fee schedule or fees for these buildings? Do we make it a percentage of the project? Is it just a fixed fee across the board, but it's higher than it once was before? Bill, I don't know if you were planning on weighing in on that, but
Square footage,
Yeah,
that's
I
what I'm
can,
saying.
I can actually speak to it. Planning board's working on a fee schedule right now.
Yeah.
And, once we take a look at it, next meeting, we'll pass it up to select board for approval or disapproval.
cool. Well, we look forward to hearing your recommendations there. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, all right, so I promised the building grounds maintenance officer for RSU 10 that we would put this on the agenda and bring this up for discussion, whether or not the town is willing to pay for half the cost of the guardrail that was recently replaced on Tool Hill Road.
All I see is heads going like this.
Yeah.
No.
Who ran into it?
That's exactly
Right.
right. School bus.
So,
Have insurance for that?
Exactly.
I wonder if the issue is it took them so long to do it that the insurance is not
It's
pushing
settled
back.
They've signed up.
Exactly.
Well, they've settled out on the insurance and now it's probably more than what the insurance
What
gave
they
them, and
expected.
they want their
Yeah.
best, but.
Well, then that's
That'd be my
their issue.
Exactly, I agree.
They waited so long.
They're blaming it on the roads were bad, and this is the first time we've heard this.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that the example I used in my reply was when I hit black ice in Hebron a few years ago and made the paper with my rig that the insurance covered my vehicle and
Oh, Hebron didn't call you right up and wanna pay, huh? Yep.
So, yeah, so, all right.
Do you wanna vote on, do you wanna support or,
Motion,
just
yes,
say?
So, yeah, as members of the town,
Can I ask a question
yes,
first? Was there an insurance claim that was filled
Okay,
out?
so-
And what took place with that? Because if the insurance has already covered it, is that a?
sure. So a few more details on that. One of the things that I requested for the meeting over a week ago was that we be provided with the accident report and claim for us to review, and neither of those items were provided to us.
Probably tells you something.
So I really don't think I need to take a show of hands, but
No.
okay.
You want me to, I can raise my hand.
Okay. No, enough said there. Okay,
Motion on that, or?
I don't think we need to take a
Okay.
motion on that. Okay, town meeting's coming up, Saturday the 22nd, and we were planning on having a picnic / potluck afterwards. And one of the things that I just ran by Bill is I think it might be easier if we just use the pavilion at the church, because it's right next to the Sumner Elementary School. So instead of clearing out the fire barn here, we could just shift right over there. Then kids got more space to run around before they get to the road and that sort of thing. So,
They will not get to the road.
so
You stay away from the road, Sean.
anyhow, for as little or as many as show up, I think it'll be a good time and good opportunity for our townspeople to get together and just chit chat and enjoy a meal together. So if you're planning on coming, just bring a dish and we'll all share and have a good time. I was wondering if we could post that on the board, just so that gets more visibility, and then some of you that are more active on Facebook, if we could just kind of put out a little notice, just a reminder, if you wanna picnic with your fellow townspeople, there's a potluck after the meeting.
Is there a way that someone could share what's put on the Sumner town website to the area Facebook page? Is there,
We'd have to have someone who
You
has
should,
more tech
Lynn.
knowledge than I do.
so if it just gets posted on the website for Sumner, then any one of us who have a Facebook page, login, whatever, could just start circulating it that way, yes?
Yeah.
Good. So can we put it on the website then?
I will try.
Yes, Bill.
I would ask, give me 24 hours to
Oh,
set
sure.
up just me
Yeah.
talking.
Sure.
Church council.
So before we put it on the location on the board, we'll get a
Affirmation from the church.
readout on whether or not that's all right, and our fallback will be the original plan of here at the town office.
I would be confident that the church will be happy with this. I just don't want to be.
Sure. Right. Yes. Yeah. Fair enough.
There's a question as to whether, do they usually, I mean, in past years I've gone to the town meeting and there's been cookies and whatever, do you wanna do that, or?
It'd be quite a picnic.
I think
Yeah,
food is not allowed in that location, isn't it?
I was
In
gonna
the
say
gym.
in the gym, yeah.
I think we should have special dispensations,
Water, no?
Right, yeah.
Say no beverages or food,
No
but
beverages.
And it's at 9 o'clock in the morning rather than at 5 o'clock, which is the other way we've done it.
Yes.
It's been more of a
Okay.
snack time. Brunch, right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Be looking out for a shorter meeting.
Yes.
Bill, what we could do also, so we try to keep the salmonella down, is if anybody wants to bring it by before the town meeting,
Oh,
then
that'd be
just
good.
bring it by and we'll put it in one of the mini fridges we have. Because we do have a town, the food bank has a Sumner town donated fridge.
Awesome.
Very important fact to know, the fridge will be available.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Because we don't have a doctor.
We don't have a what?
Doctor.
Yes.
That's what I used to get it too, and then go, it's not that fun.
Probably don't want me, doctor.
Depends how bad I am.
I'm
real bad, I'll
I'm
let
not
you.
bad at suturing. Okay, I think that covers everything for tonight.
So, are we going to have a budget informational meeting,
Oh.
or do we want to just skip that?
I think I wanted that, cause I think it was supposed to be first.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the fire department.
we all just went along.
I mean, you guys can adjourn if you want, but.
It doesn't matter to me whether we make this officially a part of the
Whatever you guys want.
meeting or not.
Okay. Did everybody get a handout?
I have
I
one.
gave mine.
Thank you. Most everybody who's here is pretty well informed. We all look very familiar. However, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. Here you go. Oh, it's right on the back. Yeah. So if you flip your handout to the second page, this is our proposed budget for the coming year. They were like this. Here, no, folks. They were right as you walk in.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Absolutely.
You can have space.
There you go.
All of this information is available on the website.
Are these numbers increases too, or the total?
These are the total.
Okay,
Can you reflect on what the total increase is?
Over last year is 4% over the budget that was proposed last year. And it's 1% over what we actually spent last year. Yes.
I have a question on the IRS penalties.
Yes.
Was that what we ended up paying because of showing up, putting in that Doing our-
We've made a $20,000 payment. We have the potential of another $20,000 penalty. We're in the process of requesting abatements and filing appeals.
Okay.
We're waiting for more correspondence from the IRS before we pay anything or further the appeal process. We did get letters for 5 quarters that basically said we need more time. They need more time to review the appeals, so
Okay, so there's a
that's better than-
possibility that we won't have to pay more.
there's a possibility. Diane's recommended that we take more money from the general fund to cover it. And if we need it, it's there. If we don't need it, it just stays in our general
Okay.
fund.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? If any of you come up with questions later, you're welcome to email me or call me here.
Can you explain the LD1 in case anybody is watching this video?
No, I'm just kidding. So, it's a very complicated, formula that was given by the state that is an attempt to limit how much the town can increase its budget every year. It is based on how much the town has grown since last year and also how much we spent last year. And it's also been repealed, so we won't actually have to be voting on LD1 ever again. The state has decided that it doesn't work the way they wanted it to because the cost of things are increasing faster than this formula is keeping up with.
And the RSU is not a part of the
That is
LD1
correct.
formulation or county
That is
taxes?
correct. The RSU tax, the county tax and the RSU budget are not part of the LD1 calculation. So they don't have any effect on LD1. They have a huge effect on what the tax rate is because that is part of our base.
So if LD1 does not get passed, it means we must take money from other areas, not from the RSU and not from county tax,
Correct.
in order to bring the budget down.
Yeah, RSU 10 is not gonna give us a break if we decide we're not going to vote to exceed LD1. Unless you want to propose that.
I mean, I can do all the proposing that you would like, but it will
Right.
get nowhere.
But no, unfortunately, we will not be able to decrease either of those. We also can't decrease things that we've already signed a contract for, you know, like RSU 10.
Is there anything else you want people to know about LD1 before we go into the town meeting?
I think that this probably explains it pretty well. And this is also available on the website, so if anybody who is not here would like to read it, it is there. Yes, sir.
So Diane, you were saying that the bottom line for the 2024 proposed budget is that it's 4% over the 2023 budget, but we actually have expended, it's only a touch above what was actually expended, is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. Because of the extra funds that we appropriated at the special town meeting. Yes, Mr. Silver?
The reason that originally was passed was that people thought that the government was putting something over people. And with this LD1, they thought that everything would be clear, everything will be above board, no one will be able to sneak in various budget items. But as you can see, it doesn't really work. It doesn't do anything. All it does is confuses people about what LD1 is supposed to do.
I would agree with that.
Can you maybe say, for the sake of the video, what, if LD1 is not passed, or if the limit is exceeded, what these say right here as to where the money would come out of?
Yeah, so if LD1 is not passed, we would kick the revaluation savings down to $2,000. We have an $8,000 carryover that if it is passed, then we would that would be $10,000. town record preservation, we've suggested that we, appropriate money every year in order to, preserve historical records that we have here that are deteriorating. That would be cut from the budget. The fire department truck fund, another savings proposal so that we save a little bit every year in order to, when we need a new truck, we're not paying for it all in 1 year. That would be cut from the budget. The recreation budget would go down to $1,000 from $1,500. Fire department wages would be reduced to $16,000. Fire department equipment would be reduced. Social services would be reduced. Our winter salt budget would be reduced, meaning that we would have less salt to do the roads in the winter time. And both of the proposed roads projects, the Gammon and Bonnie roads projects, would have to be removed from the budget.
Something that people are really vocal about right now.
Yep. So, those total savings come up to $148,380.
Cool. Mr. Glass?
We've been down this road before, just for the purposes of the video. We went to this last year, we had an LD1 vote, and there was a lot of surprise expressed that meant that we had to cut road projects. So if you look at the budget, as Diana's been saying, much of the budget is baked in. We can't mess with much of the budget. So we already have a very Spartan, austere, Yankee budget going. And so the only place where there's money that we haven't already committed is in the road budget. So the bottom line is we want to have roads, we folks get to need to pay for them. Because we have previously, several years ago, voted down opportunities to be able to have income in the town, wind projects and so on. So we have made this decision, we now live with the decisions we made before, and that's what we have. And the bottom line becomes not the LD1 issue, the bottom line becomes the mill rate and how much your taxes go up. And one thing you may want to point out is that no matter what happens with the reevaluation, that doesn't mean that the town piles on and just jacks up taxes, it gets away with it. The taxes, the budget is what is proposed, and it doesn't float the mill rate because of that.
Yes.
What is the status of the reval? I mean, is it anticipated being done in this tax year, or will it be next tax year that the effect of that
It
reval will?
it will be done next tax year, because it's April 1st that those taxes are committed, or
It'll be
Correct.
reflected in the tax bill you get in the fall.
in the
In
fall.
this fall,
Yes,
the reval.
for the coming fiscal year, yes.
Yes,
But the taxes we pay in '24.
yes.
The 24-25 tax
Yes.
year will reflect the new evaluation.
The next bill we receive.
Correct.
One last thing on LD1 for anyone watching is the LD1 is essentially repealed as of September.
So it was repealed in March, however, it takes 90 days to go into effect. So it will be in effect in July of this year.
In July.
A week after our town meeting.
A few, but yes, yeah. Just as a plan. Yes, ma'am.
So a question about the code enforcement officer, we've got 13,000 in that now, could that possibly be less if
Yes,
we're getting
that-
a town pickup from different code
The,
enforcement?
actually, so code enforcement is,
That was
we're
animal
talking
control.
ACO
Oh,
over
that's
here.
animal control.
But code enforcement would possibly go down, that is in case we needed to find somebody else, we have a little bit of padding in the budget there. Fred actually makes 5.
So he's a little bit far away, but I had a conversation with the new code enforcement officer in Andover today, and he might be interested in picking up another town to do a couple of days a week. So keep everyone posted on that.
So do we have a line item for animal control?
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
We
on the
sure
other
do.
side. But would that change? We don't know what that would be like for What's the
So,
different
we have, which I apologize that it's not on here, we do have a $5,000 carryover this year into next year for, animal control. So that budget is, technically 7,000. And, that is the same, but we didn't spend that much this year, and we really anticipate that it probably won't be that much next year.
We stay with Freiberg for the,
We have Harvest Hills
Yeah.
contract for,
yeah, we tried a couple other and nobody else would take us, so.
Right.
Bill? Okay. Alright. Thoughts, questions, comments?
Good,
Okay,
I think we're good.
alright, well, I would make a motion that we adjourn this meeting at 6:50 PM.
Seconded.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned.
Thanks
Thanks for coming out, everybody.
Oh, sorry, I thought you had sold.